Is it time to panic on Polkadot? Like, genuinely, guys, are you scared? Are you in Polkadot? Do you think that this thing is just going to go to zero? Or do you think that we're going to start breaking out soon and start making some swings? I'm going to sit on the fence with this because I've been doing Polkadot a lot. I've been bullish on Polkadot. I am midterm bullish on Polkadot and I am short-term bearish. What does that even mean? What we're going to do is we're going to look at the candlesticks in front of us. They tell a story. We're going to identify the psychology behind these candlesticks and what areas we need to overcome in the short term before we can flip short-term bullish as well as mid-term bullish. And then the key area of resistance is this barrier here. Once we break this trend line, we've got little resistance to $6. But how do we get to $6? We need to break through these barriers. And one key level that's going to tell us and help us identify and help us understand when DOT is going to start outperforming, it's going to be its Bitcoin pair. That's another thing that we're going to look at. That looks pretty bullish to me. And once we break this key resistance barrier, you can start seeing DOT outperform Bitcoin. What does that allow for? That allows you to accumulate more Satoshis by being into a different asset while that asset outperforms Bitcoin during a short period of time. When you sell that asset at a different point, that means you get a cheaper Bitcoin just by converting back into Bitcoin from that asset. Might sound confusing, guys, but we've done it in the last couple of videos. It's near completion on Ethereum. So I'm going to show you how to get half price Bitcoin using Polkadot, as well as what's likely to happen in the short term on DOT, mid-term on DOT, and then my projections going forward. And I know that might have been a lot for you guys to take in. So if I've missed anything, or if there's anything that you don't understand, let me know in the comments and I'll try and explain as best as I can. So what we're going to do is we're going to understand this range here. We were bullish at some point during this range. We talked about when we were bullish. We dropped key levels. Now I'm short-term bearish. So these candlesticks are going to tell us a story. And we're going to look at this story that these candlesticks tell us. Firstly, you've got this full-bodied candle that takes out the previous extreme high of the previous candle. It wicks to the upside. It rejects from the 200. Then you get this pullback down here. And then it pushes above the 200. What was that met by? That's bullish. That was met by a big engulfing bearish candle all the way down here, followed by another bearish candle here. Then we got a bit of a reaction. Where was the reaction to? It was back at the 200 daily moving average. This thing's like a magnet. At this point here, we thought we were breaching it. At this point here, if that held and confirmed as support, didn't confirm as support, we got battered back down, that would have been bullish, and then you'd have expected a breakout of trend. However, we got rejected. So you've got to appreciate we got rejected, and this is the key barrier here that we need to talk about. Why is this a key barrier? Look at the wick here. So the bears push price back down to this level here. We had the next day, bears push price all the way down here. Next one, but bears push price all the way back down. Then the bulls regained and the bulls tried to push up and the bears pushed price all the way back down here. So this is going to be an important support zone. And this is the area we need to overcome in the short term. So we just follow it down and you can see had this big bullish candle. What happened, remember, we've broken the 200, held the 200. There was a little bit of indecision here. What did we get? 3-bar reversal. Bam, bam, all the way to the downside. So that was when Bitcoin had, what was it, 21,000 Bitcoin sell-off or whatever it was. But the important thing is we come back down, we made a base here. So this base is held here. This base is held here. Base is held here. Base is held here. This is our support base, and that's $3.70. So what happened here is we got rejected. We got rejected. We broke through, we tested the 50 period moving average, we tested the 20 period moving average, and then we got rejected back down, a lower low, lower close candle. What's happening now? This is currently a doji candle. This is currently indecision. So at some point during the day, the bulls have pushed price all the way up here, and the bears have pushed price all the way down there, and we're currently sat on the fence. So that's a doji candle, that's an indecision candle, and that's indicating that tomorrow, if this stays like that, we're going to come back up and test this again. Are we going to break through it as a resistance barrier to flip support? Is it going to be an RS flip? Because if it is an RS flip tomorrow and the day after, and that comes back down and tests support, what does that do? Puts in a higher low and allows us to go up. So there's clues that we can look for, there's clues that we can do within the candlesticks, which are giving us real-time price action. And then we can bring the indicators up to understand. We overbought at this level, we oversold. You can see we're oversold. You can see we're coming down, we're below the 50 level on the RSI. Remember, aim of the game on the RSI, above the 50. We can look at RSI. I love RSI for divergences, but I want to simplify it in this one. So above 50, you're bullish. Below 50, you're bearish. When you're above 50, it gives you an indication that you're likely to get another swing up. When you get another swing up, the aim of the game is to take out the lower high. If you take out the lower high, you come back down and put a higher low. That's enough momentum to have another try to push through. It's as simple as that, guys. Simple as that. So we are it is a waiting game, and like I say, I'm bearish until we break through this barrier here. Now, zooming out, you can see that once we do get a break, there's the next resistance barrier. How do we know that that was next resistance barrier? Because that was this bull market support base. This wasn't the real bull market. This was November, December 2024 when we had the little mini bull rally. You can see that was the support base there. What happened? Once it fell through, resistance. So we understand that that is going to be a higher time frame key resistance point. That is $6.02. $6 is a psychological round number. You expect to get a bounce from the $6. So what we can do is just stick a fib tool just from this recent high all the way to this recent low. I'm going to stick some extensions on here. The extensions are going to stick on is the 1618. I'm going to stick the 1272 and I'm going to stick through the 2618. Have we got any complements at these levels? You've got your 1618, which is $5.43. What does that coincide with? This lower high. Expect that to be a reaction point. Expect that to be a rejection point. You've got your 1272. What does that coincide with? Clues look left, clues look left. You can see how these magic numbers are sticking points. Magic numbers are sticking points. So once you break through, expect price to do this. Once you've got momentum on your side and you're putting in higher lows, it's completely fine. Once you break through these barriers, start holding these barriers as support, and breaking through, holding them as support, and breaking through and holding them as support, then you've got momentum on your side and you start making the big swings. Whilst you're in a wedge pattern, that is the indecision pattern. And we told you in the previous video what happens, guys. What happens when you get a break? That's what happens. So you've got all of this accumulation phase, and this is going off topic. This is pith. You've got all of this accumulation phase, which lasted for 100 days, this big accumulation phase. And once you got the breakout, how long did the breakout last? 1 day. 100 days of grind, 1 day, and then it's too late. So that's why it's important to start building on days in the red. When you build in the days of red, you manage to get the big, massive swings in the green. But it is a long grind. It is there designed to mess with your emotions, guys. And trading isn't easy. It is a game of psychology. And when you think, look at in a chart, understanding where price action is, I'll tell you that is 20% of the story. The psychology behind it is 80%. Trust me. You'll understand when you start putting your own money in, when you start going through these emotions, when you start getting a big swing that's 100% to the upside and it retraces 78.6, which is a conservative level, and it often happens. That's 78.6% of that move that you've just lost. How's that going to make you feel? This is what crypto does to you. It is an emotional game. You need to understand and identify how to tune into your emotions. And I'll tell you something, guys. It's been about 5 years now since I've started trading. It's been a journey of self-discovery, and I've learned so much about myself. So I do think that one thing that you should do is go and develop yourself, because I've done it. You can do it. Anybody can do it. I'm not the smartest guy. I left school. I went straight into a job. Didn't do any A levels. I didn't do any university. Didn't do anything. I self-developed myself, and you can self-develop yourself as well. And that was going off topic again. This is the next thing that I want to talk about. Remember, when you've got a descending wedge, that is actually a bullish pattern. We talked about it before. You're putting in lower lows, you're putting in lower lows, you're putting in lower lows, but it's squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And when you squeeze, then you get a bounce to the upside. And this is Polkadot Bitcoin. So once we've broken this 200 daily moving average at 0 point loads of zeros 409, you've got to expect this acceleration all the way up here to 0.01202. So from where price is now up to there, that is a move of 242%. So if you were trying to get a half price Bitcoin and you were using DOT as your mechanism, where would you need to be? If you took the position now, you would need to be 100% here, 100% here, 706. So 706, that looks little, that looks insignificant. To look at that little thing now compared to where it was before. Bitcoin has battered everything during the bear market collectively, and DOT has been one of the ones that's been most punished. Look at that little move there. That little move there gets you a half price Bitcoin. So whatever Bitcoin is now, say it's at 110. If you accumulate Polkadot at this level and you sell Polkadot at this level, that means that you have got the equivalent of a $55,000 Bitcoin. It's simple as that, guys. But just understand these are further down the risk curve. So you need to understand that that is less capital that you'd be putting in, because if something went wrong on it, that would be capital that you lost. When you look at your portfolio as a whole, you need to have it in accordance with risk. It means you've got a higher percentage, which is low risk, a lower percentage, which is high risk. And what will happen is the lower percentage during alt season start getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that'll give you a headache to understand that you need to take that off the table and put that back into your lower risk and balance the portfolio properly. So the Bitcoin dot chart looks good. And what I mean by descending wedge being bullish is exactly the same as ascending wedge being bearish. And if we just look at the Bitcoin dominance, you can see this is an ascending wedge. This is when it drops. That is bearish. And once we've dropped that, you get an acceleration to the downside. We're expecting another acceleration to the downside with Bitcoin dominance. And it's exactly the same concept as when you reverse it. When you reverse it and you see that you're in a descending wedge, that is a bullish pattern where they're grinding and grinding and grinding. When they break out, expect that breakout all the way up here. So that is just one way that you can accumulate more Bitcoin. If that is the aim of the game, to accumulate more Satoshis, there's other ways and other mechanisms that you can do it, understanding if you've got a strategy and an end game that you can accumulate these Satoshis at lower levels. Right, okay, I think that's about it from me on this one. What have I got next? Get in the Discord group, guys. Have you say what I'm going to cover. Easy, just get in there, link in the description, go to start here, solve the captcha at the top of the page, all the way up here, all the way up here, solve the captcha at the top of the page. When you solve the captcha, you access all of these great servers for free, all of these great servers for free. And in chart requests, that's where you can drop your chart requests. And that's where I could do a video for you. So I will see you over there, hopefully. If you've got Discord, let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next. I'm going to be doing one more video today, and I'll see you in the next one.